Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third day of the Growth Hacker Hangathon, 10 days to transform and grow your business fast. And if you've been with us for the last 3 days, because we did one bonus one, you already know all the awesome content that you're getting here. And just the opportunity to pick Chris and Bishop's brain live, unscripted, about your business today is worth the time you're investing with us. So first of all, thank you for showing up. Thank you for engaging with us. And we have two awesome announcements. First of all, we want to announce that so far, the winner of our competition is Mark. I'm going to mess up his name. Hold on a second. Santayena, I believe, who has 301 votes. And guys, he got that in less than 24 hours. So winning this, he knows how valuable winning this session with Christian Bishop is, and he went and got his people to vote on his business. If you want to beat him, now you have a big challenge. Go submit your business on our page, on our competition page, and I'll just show you what it looks like so you know where to find it. Right here on the menu, click Win, submit your business, and you can see that Mark is so far leading with 301 votes. Go, Mark. Awesome job. Now, the second thing I want to show you guys is when you are right here on our page, you see that today we are talking about webinars and webinar systems. And Bishop has been kind enough to give you the entire complete full webinar training. If you want to get that, you know what you need to do. You need to comment right here, leave your comment, and then make it a good comment so that people vote for you. For example, you see, I got 2 votes already for this one. So leave a very smart comment, something that people can engage with, participate, appreciate, whether it's over what you're going to learn today, or whether it's a question, or whether it's some, wisdom, wise nugget that you want to share with all of us. And then, guys, if you see a comment that is really worthy of this webinar system, and we'll jump with Bishop in a second to tell us exactly what goes into that, vote on the comment that you think is the most valuable so that we can actually reward the people who participate. So, welcome again, and we have with us the 2 amazing guys. Chris.
Thanks, Matt. It's so good to be here again, and throwing love straight across at you because I know a lot of people kind of expect these things for us to kind of be pitching something, and I've had so many people just say how cool it is and how much time we're giving up. And I just want to say thank you to Yifat and also to everyone out there morning over on Periscope. I've got my Periscope here as well. And I just want to say, Bishop and I, we don't need to be here. Yifat doesn't need to be here. We're here to support you on your journey. And the best way that you can support us is by engaging, getting back to us, sharing this, and getting involved. So morning, everybody, and welcome to, it's day 3, isn't it?
Yes.
Day 3? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Good.
Only 7 more to go. Wow, we're gonna miss you guys when it's over.
But we've had an absolute blast, and Chris is right. The feedback that we've been getting from people on social media, sending us messages and a lot of love. People are really enjoying this whole process, and so people are realizing the difference now. I know we said it like on the registration page is how this is not going to be like a webinar. But now that people are actually experiencing it, it's really starting to come alive to them. Like, wow, every day I want to be here because we're getting to engage and get so much value. And for me, the best part is still when everyone comes on live at the end and we get to interact with you guys. It's just absolutely a great time, and that's my favorite part because then we can see exactly what's happening in your business and we can solve a problem for you right there on the spot.
And I think this is really where you guys shine. You love that problem solving on the fly kind of thing. I can see it in your eye, like you just glowing when it's like someone comes in with like, I don't know what to do with this. And then both of you at the same time. Analysis paralysis. I can see where you're going.
Well, the thing is that some people always ask me, Chris, why do you keep building businesses? And the question I always ask people is, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? And my answer is I would build businesses. And I tell you why. This is why. And it's because I'm crazy obsessed. But here's why. I believe that businesses and entrepreneurs are going to change the world. I don't believe that we can wait for governments to do anything. I know that if there's great products out there, the way that I can impact the world is to help entrepreneurs to get their message out. So I'm so inspired to be here, and I'm really, really, really excited for what we're going to go through today, which is webinars. Now, I don't care where your business is. Today is going to benefit you massively. If you're starting out, you can put a webinar on. It's completely free. It's a great growth hack. If you've already got a business and you want to create more sales, which every business should, then putting a webinar on is great. But before we begin, Bishop's going to go into some of his cool results, why webinars, and I'm going to do some other things system. We're going to give you 2 amazing closes from webinars today. I want to ask this question, and only YFAT can see the answers, but I want to know your #1 takeaway, what you've enjoyed so far, what you're getting out of the Hangathon, how great you think it is. Like, I just want to get a bit of love poured back at us, and I know it's a little bit of just an ask, and I just kind of want to brag a little bit how much you guys are enjoying it. So if you guys could just pop in a little comment about what you've enjoyed so far. Is it that you get to ask us questions? Is it that you enjoyed the Periscope? I don't know if you saw my Periscope yesterday, but at midnight last night, I did one. I had 180 odd people jump on, so I hope you listened to how to do that yesterday. That's still live on Periscope, but I'd love to know just what it is you loved, and also maybe what it is you're looking for to learn over the next 7 days. Today included.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to know YFAT, but we're short on time, and we always go over time. So I'll pass it straight to my good friend Bishop, and he can jump straight into webinars today.
So Bishop, before you tell them about webinars and why webinars, tell them what's in the product that they can win today.
Yeah, basically, you guys, we're going to go through exactly from the basics, exactly what a webinar is, why webinars are impacting so many businesses around the world, and where webinars are going. But I'm also going to show you guys the exact system that I use, not only for setting up my live webinars, but also the automated webinars. Automation is such a big aspect of this strategy. We're also going to talk about the mistakes that most rookies make when they're doing webinars, and how you can avoid those mistakes, because they could be costly mistakes in terms of not only actual money, but also in terms of losing clients, because you're not getting that engagement, you're not getting people to buy. And I'm going to go through my bulletproof actual template on webinars. So you're going to actually get the template, which is cool because you can literally just input your information from this template, and bam, you have a 100K webinar right there for you. And here's the best part. I'm also going to go through, because you can have the best webinar in the world, but if you can't get people on it, what's the point? So we're going to go through exactly how to get people on your webinar, how to get them engaged. And here's one cool strategy a lot of people don't teach, is how to make money before the webinar even starts. And so I'm going to share that as well.
So I love that. And guys, as you can see, is that part of the system that they can win today?
Yeah, they're going to be able to get tons of that information. Absolutely.
Okay, so the person who's winning the big prize today with the best comments that is voted on, right? What's the value of that package? And you can see that right over there.
Where am I looking?
No, not you. But everybody on this video, right to the right of the video, you can see exactly Bishop's product that you can win today when you get your comment to be voted on the most. What's in that package? How much is that package worth?
Well, it's actually a $2,000 package, but I normally, if I break it down, the least I've sold it for is $997.
Okay, so you guys have a $1,000 prize right there that can help you make $150,000 or $300,000 as you implement the webinar system that Bishop is going to share with us. So start commenting below, and let's get started.
Okay, great. And again, you guys, thanks to YFAT. Make sure you guys give her some love out there as well, because this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for her. I can tell you guys, this is her doing. This is her mastermind here. So you guys, so webinars is literally one of the most powerful tools to making sales online. And so basically what a webinar is, you know, before people would have to go and do live seminars. You'd go and spend all this money to pack out a room, do a live seminar, but now because of the power of technology and the internet, you can literally do a whole presentation and pretty much a seminar from the comfort of your home with a laptop and connect to people instantly from all over the world. So there's two types of webinars that people do. Sometimes people are doing PowerPoint presentations on their webinars, which is great. And the other way is people are actually doing a screen share where you can actually go in online and show people your desktop and show them different things that you're teaching and training them. But the reason it's so powerful is because just like this Hangout, you're able to engage with people. They can make comments, and you can talk and educate people on your brand, who you are, take them through the whole process, and at the end, start explaining to them the package you put together. If it's a sales webinar, the package you put together, and it's a way to really engage. Now, I've been doing webinars in our business for quite some time. As soon as I saw it, I knew very fast that it was going to be powerful, and a mentor of mine said, you got to do webinars. And so this is one of the #1 strategies I give to my clients when they're first starting. I have clients right now that are doing $10,000 a week in their webinars. And just to show you, and Chris is going to really go through the 7 S's of success for webinars. So basically with a webinar, you get some software. Like GoToWebinar is one of the most popular and solid platforms out there, and you can actually do a 30-day free trial. So you can actually launch your webinar for free, doing the 30-day free trial with GoToWebinar, and you set that up, and you create your title and everything, and it gives you a registration link, kind of like how you guys got a link to come here and register, and you send that out, and on that day, people are able to join you. You go live and broadcast. So just to give you an example of webinars and why they're so powerful is this. You can do a sales page and have people come to your sales page for your product or service. And it's great, and you can make sales if the copy is good, etc. But there's nothing like educating people and providing value first before they buy the product. Because here's what happens on webinars. People look at it and they say, wow, if I've gotten this much for free, I can't even imagine what the product is going to be. If they taught me this much for free, then of course I'm going to get the product. Now I know them, like them, and trust them. And so webinars convert at a rate of anywhere from 15 to 25% on average for every person. That's much higher than other platforms out there for conversions and other ways that you can sell. So just to give you some stats, I created a product with a client, and this is just recent. I'm sharing these because these are low figures, but I don't want to throw out big figures because it might be unrealistic to you and I might lose you. But here are some realistic numbers you can look at. We created a product over a weekend. Okay, I sat there. It took me 2 days to create this product. Didn't cost me a dime except for the domain name. Then we created this product. We put together the webinar. We ran some ads. We got 1,121 clicks on this ad. Out of that, 489 people registered, so that's a 43.6 registration rate. And there's a reason I'm going through these numbers. You'll realize later. Out of that, we had 290 people attend. That's a 59.3 attendance rate. We sold 25 sales in 60 minutes, you guys, 25 sales, and it was an 8.6 conversion rate. The product was a $497 product, a low-end product. It wasn't a high-end product, but that brought in $12,425 in 60 minutes on a product that we created for free and sold on a webinar. That is a $11 earning per click and a $42 in sales per attendee. Then we did the replay on a Sunday, and we brought in about another $7,000. So doing something for free, creating a webinar, and I did this with the client to show them the power of this, we made over $20,000 in a week, working maybe 2 hours. Now, and again, you guys, these are low figures. These are very, very low figures, but I want you to realize the power of this. Why did I go through the numbers here? I went through the numbers here because I want you to realize in business, especially online, when you know your numbers, what does that mean? You can duplicate the process. You can duplicate this process over and over again. If we get 1,121 clicks, we're going to make about $13,000. It's duplicatable. Now, here's the problem a lot of people get with webinars. Then I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and then I'll come back with some more stuff, is getting people on the webinar. And here's one of the things that I do, and I want you guys to write this down. When someone registers for your webinar, whether you're doing an ad or something like that, and they go to your webinar registration page, remember, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So what most people do is they just send them a webinar, say, hey, don't forget the webinar starts on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and then that's it. What we do in our business that has increased our sales dramatically is I have a funnel. I send out about 6 emails prior to the webinar. Now, in 3 of those emails, I have a video. In the video, I'm explaining what's on the webinar, and I'm teaching ahead of time. I'm already teaching them before the webinar starts. And I say, okay, don't forget to get on the webinar. You're going to get more of this. I do this 3 times in 3 different emails prior to the webinar. Why do I do this? Because remember, a lot of these people aren't coming from my list. They don't know me. People buy from who they know, like, and trust. This allows me to build that credibility, build their trust. They see my energy and everything. By the time they come onto our webinar, guess what? They already know me, like me, and trust me, and they're already in the buying process. They're already like, whatever this guy has, it's adding value to my life. He's already done that. And so that's we call it indoctrination series that you do prior to your webinar. And this is gold, what I'm telling you guys. Most people do not do this. Okay, so do simple videos where you're teaching them something and letting them know that's going to be on the webinar. And also on our thank you page, I have a video where I'm saying, hey, thank you for coming or registering for the webinar, and here's a free gift. On the webinar page, I give them a free gift, whether it's an ebook or something else as well. And it's been absolutely tremendous. So before I go on a tangent, because you guys have been with me 3 days and you know I can, I'll just start diving into it. Let me turn it over to Yifat, and then I want Chris to go over his 7 secrets to success, 7 S's for success on webinars, and it's going to blow your mind.
I love this, and I love the engagement, guys, that we are getting, and I just want to share some with you. Alexandra said, I think Bishop's laugh is awesome. This is a comment worth winning the package.
Great.
Victor is saying, love to know how you use Evergreen Systems and other similar pre-recorded webinars via Facebook marketing to make it engaging and seem live. So we might answer that later on after we're done with all the training.
Yeah.
Ruth is saying, wow, webinar package must be amazing. Susan is saying, it's been so amazing even though I messed up another Periscope. But I'm learning great new things. I love everything about this awesome hangout. Thanks for being here, Susan. And Charlene is saying, I'm a complete newbie to the business world, and my passion of healing people is the business I'm creating. And this is an area that I really want to impact the world in a different way. And I love how real, honest, and open to educating people you guys are. It really helps boost the confidence and expand the mind of someone in my situation. Sending lots of love and gratitude for Melbourne. Hey, Charlene, awesome. So thank you guys for all the love. Keep commenting and keep voting, because we do need to see which comment gets the most votes so they can win the package. And as you do that, let's dive into, oh, and don't forget, download the worksheet. And you guys already need to know where it is. It's right on the resource tab next to the video, right here below. Download that because we are going to follow it now.
Awesome, awesome. I just want to go straight into it and get into some of the steps. And I want to share to all of my Periscope followers out there, the 30-odd people, that you can actually jump on this live and ask us questions as well. But stay right there for now because you might miss a bit. But after this, I'm going to send you the link so you guys can get on tomorrow. We're doing 10 days. And so everyone who's on the Periscope training, I've got a bunch of people on Periscope here as well who are checking this out, which is fun. So let me go into something that makes a lot of sense. Here's why you want a webinar. You want a webinar because you're able to educate your audience and then they're able to buy from you. See, for someone to make a buying decision, just tell me if it's true that you need to know some information to buy it, right? And if you find yourself saying that over and over and over and over again, that's how you know you need to have a webinar. Now, I've got webinars that do $2,000 a week or $1,000 a month, or we've even had webinars do $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000. But I can tell you this right now. If I only had one thing that I was allowed to take and build a business with, I would choose webinars every time. And here's why. 1, it's free to get people on, so it goes out to partners really well. 2, you actually give some value, you educate first. And 3, people love to buy off webinars. So let me tell you something that makes it really simple. 2 words, emotional clarity. Now this is on the top of your worksheet. Periscope people, you need to get on live, so go check out, get the link, get on live to get the worksheet, okay? Emotional clarity. Now, in any webinar presentation, there's only 2 things you need to do. Number 1, you need to get them emotional, and number 2, you need to give them clarity. If you just remember emotional clarity, you'll have success on your webinars. I'm going to give you 7 steps in a second, but here's what I mean by emotional clarity. 1, you need to make them feel the emotion, hope, excitement, and certainty that you're the right person for them. They also need to have the feeling that there's something they need to change and understand the real problem that they're facing. Okay, so you need to get them emotional. A lot of times we don't allow ourselves to tell someone the truth and actually get them emotional enough about where they actually are in life and where that's headed, and tell them the truth about how great it's going to feel when they have what it is that they want to have. So you've got to get them emotional. Now, just getting someone emotional isn't going to work for you, okay? That's not going to work for you. You must also give clarity. Now, I'm going to make it really simple. If all as you did is get someone on a webinar and get them emotional about not staying where they are and being where you want to take them to, and then you give them clarity on a few things. 1, the first piece of clarity is that you're an expert at solving their problem. The second is that you have a proven system that's not just worked for you but for others. And the third thing that you've got to give clarity on is what it is you're actually offering, because a lot of times we don't describe our product well. So 3 pieces, okay? So it's problem, product, and the path. 3 pieces of emotional clarity. And I hope you guys get it. If all you did was get on and just have in your mind, I'm giving them emotional clarity, if that's all you did, you would have a successful webinar. But I also want to share this. Right now you're on a Hangout. And I think Hangouts are underrated. In fact, until I met YFAT, I'd never even been on one. And now we've got all you people engaging with us, and it's so similar to a webinar, okay? So just look at what's right in front of you. You can use emotional clarity in everything that I teach you today on a Hangout. Now, what I'm going to go through now is I'm going to give you 7 steps, and these 7 steps are going to actually change your life if you apply it in a webinar. And I want you all to know you can put a webinar on, you can talk at a camera, and you can, or over slides. So one thing I want to share is if you're new and you don't feel like you can go and just be off cuff. So right now I have no slides. I'm just talking because I know this stuff, but you know, it's just, I've done it so many times I just get it. It's in me. But if you're just starting out and you don't know what to say, what's great about a webinar is you actually have the words up in front of you. And so it's actually a great step if you want to be a public speaker or other things. It's a nice, easy step. The second thing that I love about webinars is I want you to imagine that Michael Jordan was able to record his best game ever. His best game ever. And then I want you to imagine that he was able to take out the first quarter and replace a better first quarter, and then take out the second quarter, and then test and measure until he had the perfect game. And then what if he was able just to play that perfect game again and again and again and again and again, and then keep adjusting it till it was so perfect? That's what a webinar does. Because if you've had one good sales presentation and then you do it again, you think, man, I wish I did at the last sales presentation. That's what a webinar does for you. So I want you to listen into the 7 steps. So the 7 S's, those out there on Periscope, make sure you're on this live tomorrow and subscribe to my, to follow me so that you can actually make sure you get all the updates. So the first S, it's 7 S's. The first S is setup. The very first thing you do when you get onto your webinar is you set up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do your pre-frames. You're going to tell them what they're going to expect, how long to be on the webinar, what's happening at the end, what they're going to do, what you're going to explain. You want to do a few things in setup. You want to get their attention by giving them a big promise and what you're going to do. And that's the first S. Okay. Now in our training that Bishop and I have got, we go into this in heaps of detail. So whoever wins, remember making comments and voting on comments, and you can win that. We go into that in detail. The second S is story. Okay. Now, when someone comes in, they're just flat, and they're actually thinking, do I want to stay on this webinar for the whole hour? Remember, they can just click straight off if they don't like you. So the second S is story. You need to explain your story, and make sure you give me some love out there on Periscope, and agree with this, is if you tell a story and then someone can gel to you. They actually go, wow, I like this person, you know, they have been where I am, and you've got to tell your story. So the second S is story. I get some people go, you know what, Chris, I've been on this webinar, and this guy just told me his story for 10 minutes, and I couldn't believe it. You've got to tell a story great, and here's why, okay, is every single different product that I sell on webinar, I have a different story, because the story is good if it's relevant, right? If the story is irrelevant to the person watching, if one of my companies, we help people with their health, okay, nutrition, juice and smoothie company. If I'm talking about business to those people, they don't care about that. So you must remember that every one of these pieces must be adjusted for every webinar. So that's story, okay? You want people to know you, like you, trust you, and to gel with you. The next S is struggle, okay? So we've got setup, story, struggle. Now, explain the struggle to them. Explain the pain they're going to be in if they don't get your product, service, system, if they don't get it. Explain to them in detail the problem. Not many people do. I've got a question over here from Holistic Gals. How long should your story be? Stories should be between 7 and 10% of the entirety of your webinar, and webinars should only be 60 minutes. So you can figure that one out. So good question. Make sure to jump on the Hangout as well, the Hangathon. I'll posted the link across, and you can get on it too. But good question. I love it. And I can't wait to get everyone else's questions. So struggle is the third step. After you actually get them aligned to the problem and the struggle, and by the way, here's why, okay? If you are trying to go out there and give someone a solution, the person who actually knows that they're in pain will be the one that wants the solution. Until they know they've got a problem, why would they look for a solution? So you must teach them what they're going to struggle with if they don't get this simple, easy solution that you're offering them. Step 4 is you must give them the steps and seed. So you give them, here's what you're going to do, step 1, and seed them to what it is you're going to offer them. Step and seed. So here's an example of step and seed. This is something that you'll learn on our webinar training, or tomorrow we're going to teach you about the funnels. So what I'm doing is I'm seeding in your mind that comes up in a different thing. Okay, so you give them step and seed, step and seed. Okay, so that's the next one. So let me just recap it. Setup, okay, story, struggle, step and seed. The next one is system. You must provide them the system, what they're going to buy, and explain it in total detail. Okay, so you must actually give them the system. Say, so this is the system. This is everything that you're going to get. Here it is, and explain it in clarity. After system, step 6. And I know it's amazing, guys. Give me some love for just getting all alliteration and S's right now. How good is this? Right? I've taught this so many times.
Or we say in our world.
So the next one, and I know that we're getting short on time, and we're always going to go over every single day, I think, Bishop and I, because I could teach this, and I do teach this for 12 hours, okay? So I can teach it to you forever, we get it perfect, I can script out a webinar and make it done. So after you've given your system, the next S is you must go on sale. I'm not saying to sell, the word is sale. Always on a webinar, be on sale. I don't know, in America you have Best Buy, right? We have Harvey Norman over here and other different places that are always on sale, like every month. It's a sale, it's another sale, it's another sale. Understand this, okay? Go on sale. So after you tell them your system, then have a sale, because going on sale invokes someone's urgency, okay? There's scarcity, because a sale is only open for a short amount of time, and go on sale, all right? And a lot of times people go, but Chris, I don't want to do, go and stand on that map of the world. And so here's the thing that I always ask them. I say, well, look, it works. So either you're going to do it and go on sale, or you're going to just try to go and recreate the wheel over here and do something that a million people have tried to do. Then you're just going to figure out what we all know, that people love a sale, okay? So then you go on sale. After you do system, you go on sale. Then the last S, step 7, is stick. And what that means is don't just have your sale and then leave. People have buy-in questions. So on a webinar, and I know Bishop and I both do this, is have a question answer time so people can ask their questions. They say, well, is this system right for me if I have this? Or can I do a juice cleanse and still eat? Or can I do this? And there's all these questions always. And so the reason why I fell in love with webinars, and it's actually the reason why I'm here, is I was in Thailand, and I sat on this little table, and I had my webinar up, and it was just slides. And I was asking people to take action in a juice cleanse. It was $495. And I put this webinar on, and in the next room, so I was outside, and the next room was Harriet, my fiance. She was asleep because it was early in the morning. And I got up and I did this presentation. And I'm in Thailand, and I did this presentation. There was 40-something people on the call. 26-something people bought a $495 product after 90 minutes. So I did an hour and then 30 minutes of question answer. And then I looked at my PayPal, and there was $13,000 in there. And they're like, that's not millions. In fact, it took me a whole month to get the people on that call. So it was $13,000. I made it in that 90 minutes. And I realized that $13,000, even if that's all I earned a month, meant I was completely set to live in Thailand. That was just one of my companies. But if it was just that, right? And I remember sitting there, and I thought to myself, I go, wow, I'm sitting here, putting this webinar on. There's people from like a bunch of different countries, and they're in all different time zones, and they bought this thing, and I'm going to deliver it to them, and it's going to be fantastic, and they're going to get an amazing, I've changed their life, but I've also changed mine. And I just thought, well, I could just do this again and again and again. I could just sit here. I remember Bishop, and you probably had this as well. I remember having this selfish thought and going, I could just sit here and do nothing. And that's when the next thing hit me, and this was about 2 years ago, and this is where it hit me, and I went, you know what? That is what I need to start teaching. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm teaching what it is that I want to teach. And that's why I'm so passionate about webinars, because the webinar was the moment that I sat there and went, I could just do this. I could do this once a week now that I've got. I can make it better and better and better. And obviously I did. And I'm so glad that I didn't just decide to just sit there in Thailand being another person just making a lot of money, just focusing on myself. And so that's why I'm here. So I know 100% if you follow those 7 steps, you'll get it done. I know Bishop's got a ton of value to add on this, and also I know he's got 2 closes that he wants to help you close. But I want you, before he does, I want you to think about a close, but I don't want you to use the word close. Even though he's going to, I want you to use the word open. because when you sell properly and you go on sale, you don't close somebody in, you open them up to the possibility of what they can do next. And so Bishop, man, I'll send it over to you to help them with 2 ways to close.
Absolutely, man, and crushed it as always. Love hearing Chris. Man, me and Chris just have such a cool vibe together, and that's why we're just great partners together, because we just have the same energy, the same focus, which is really changing people's lives. And again, webinars is such a powerful way to do it that if you're not using webinars, it doesn't matter what your business model is. If you're not using webinar, you are leaving a tremendous amount of money on the table, and I can guarantee you, your competition, that is, they're absolutely crushing it and getting more from their target market. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is how do you keep people on? Okay, number one, like Chris said, you want to offer them, let them know about something that they're going to get towards the end of the webinar. So you can say, hey, at the end of the webinar, if you're on the whole time, someone is going to win my free template or my free report. So that's going to make people want to stay on the whole entire time. Also, Chris talked about storytelling, which is so true. I mean, facts tell and stories sell. Write that down, because this is such a powerful part in business. And Helen on Periscope, she knows what I'm talking about. Facts tell and stories sell. That's what gets people, are the stories that you can tell and weave into your message. So one of the other things I do on webinars to keep people on my webinar longer throughout the entire time is, what happens when you're watching TV, you're watching your favorite TV show, and a commercial comes up? And usually in commercials, people leave, right, and they go do something else, and they might not come back to the show. People know that. And so what do? They give you a teaser about what's coming up after the commercial break. So I study everything in business, you guys. I'm constantly studying. And so that's what I implement in my webinars now. After X amount of slides, I always have in one of the bottom corners of that slide, I have a little message there that talks about what's coming up. And I say, stay tuned, you guys, because in the next couple slides, I'm going to cover X, Y, and Z. By doing this, we have kept our retention there to the end tremendously, because now people know what's coming up in the next few slides. And so implement that into your webinars. And I can tell you guys, 99% of people who are doing webinars don't do this because they don't think that way.
Dude,
and
that
so
is
this,
so smart. That is so smart. It's brilliant, because like even if you think about YouTube, right? All the little annotations when you move people from one video to another. If you start a video, usually we drop off in the first 5-20 seconds, right, of the commercials. But if you say, hey, I'm about to tell you blah, it's kind of like, what do you call it, like a cliffhanger.
Exactly.
Right? I'm about to tell them blah, and then they're waiting for the blah.
Exactly.
And I just missed my thing. Yeah.
See, you guys, even you fats getting nuggets here.
All excited.
Okay. So yeah, so definitely do that, because it's such a powerful aspect to your model. And so that is gold, you guys, what I just gave you there. I mean, that is absolutely gold for your webinars, and believe me, people aren't doing that. And so study. You know, I study everything. Every day I'm looking around and seeing what I can learn and study from every aspect of business. So implement that. So when you get towards your close, there's different kind of closes. One is called the stack close, okay, or like Chris likes to say, the stack open. So what this is let's say you have a product that is $497, right? You have a $497 product. Well, that's great, but what you want to do is add on additional value to that product, because what you're trying to create is a no-brainer, right? You want people to look at this and say, oh, this is a no-brainer. I would be foolish not to take this. So we usually stack on about 3 to 4 different bonuses on our webinars, and then we have our knockout bonus, which is the big one that they just absolutely cannot pass up. And so as we're going through this closing process and we're saying, hey, you're going to get Bishop Stewart ebook publishing course, blah, 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 valued at $1,500. But also, you're going to get, for the people who buy today, and then I'll start showing the different bonuses and talking about what's in the bonuses and the value of each bonus. So now we're adding on that dollar amount, that value, right? So we add on the value, and then we do the knockout bonus. And then we say, okay, you guys can see you have literally $6,457 worth of value here, but today you're going to be able to get this for whatever it is, $997. And then you're telling them on that. And here's the cool thing. People are already excited to purchase at that point. But then you say, you know what? I'm not even going to sell it for $9.97. For you guys here today, because I really want to give you guys value, and I know this is going to change your lives, I'm going to give this to you guys for $4.97 for the first 15 people. You know what I mean? So by doing that stack close, you'd be surprised. I've had people buy. I've even bought before just because of the bonuses. Okay, I've done it because some of the bonuses, I was like, I got to have that. And so that's called the stack close. You're stacking the value up on your product. Okay, very, very important. Now, the other thing that's important is as you're doing your close, to reiterate the testimonies and the success stories that you mentioned earlier in the presentation. So like Chris said, you're going to go through your story, and in there you're going to bring up some success stories or testimonials that you have. Bring those up again on the close because you want to remind them, I've already created success before with these other people. So when you're looking at this, 497, look, with Susan, I've already created this. With Michelle, I've done this. With Kim, I've done this. And Mark, I've done this, X, Y, and Z. And look what they've created. You can do the exact same thing by working with me or buying this product, whatever it is. So bring up your stories again. Okay, and then here's a big thing. Give a money-back guarantee. Okay? This is so big, you guys. Give a money-back guarantee. When you tell someone, listen, I'm so confident that this is going to work for you, I'm going to give you a 60-day, a 30-day, whatever you want to do, money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Okay? Now, here is something that I'm going to give you guys. There's different banners or seals that you can use for your money-back guarantee. There's one called the Bellinger seal. This seal has been proven to convert, they say, up to 60% more than the other seals. Why? I don't know. You can't. I have no clue why. I don't know if it's the color of it, but this is a fact. They've done the research. This actually converts more, and this is the seal that we do. And all you got to do is go to Google, put it in, and download the seal, and that's your money-back guarantee seal. So what are we doing now? Now that they're getting it so inexpensive, they got all this value, and there's a money-back guarantee, they would be foolish not to take your product, right? And here's what we're basically doing. Now, because of the value is so high, we are selling, and I want you guys to hear this statement, we are selling cash at a discount. I know that sounds crazy. We're selling cash at a discount, meaning because of how much money they're saving if they were to buy all of this, naturally what it cost, they're saving that money. So in their minds, they're like, oh, I'm saving money. So we're basically selling cash at a discount. And so that's one of the closes. The other close is basically you tell them, hey, if I would love to work with you, but I want to make sure this is a fit. I want to make sure this product or this service is right for you, and you send them to an application. And they go fill out the application, and then you contact them and you do a one-on-one, or someone in your team or your staff contacts them and really qualifies them to work with you. This, of course, is really good, especially with high-end ticket offers. So if you have something that's in the thousands of dollars, this is what we do, and we've closed a lot of $10,000 clients this way by doing that version as well. Okay, so those are the two most popular closes. Here's the other thing that you can do on your closes. You can go to Google and download a timer. We download like a 15-minute timer or something like that, or a 10-minute timer, and we put that on the last slide. And we say, okay, you guys, for the next people who go there, while this is counting down, I'm going to answer questions while this is counting down. If you guys make it in there, you're the ones I'm going to work with very, very closely on this, etc. By doing this, you guys would be amazed at the people who rush because they're visual. They see the timer counting down, and then all of a sudden in the chat box, you have people saying, hey, did I make it? Am I one of the first 15 to get in? It's a very powerful aspect to the closing process. Okay, so I wanted to share those quick things with you, and I will let Ifat come in, and then I'm going to share with you one last thing, which is going to be how you can kind of prejudge whether you're going to be successful on your webinar, and I'll share that with you when Ifat gets done with her, because I see her, she's just ready to go. So I'll let you go ahead, Ifat.
So I'm loving everything that you're just sharing with us. Guys, if you did nothing in the next 10 days and just came here every day, wrote down everything these guys just gave you, and go and implement, if you implement this today, right, you put up your webinar today just exactly the same way these guys have told you, and then take everything they said yesterday about Periscope and start driving people to your webinar, where are you going to be in 5 days, in 7 days? And not only that, in the next 7 days, what we're going through is the no-brainer offer that you can give people, and the funnel hacking, that's tomorrow. And then social media mastery, how to make money using social media with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And then how to get free exposure. These 10 days alone, guys, should take you up to the next level. So hopefully you're here with us every day. And since we do have a competition today and a big prize to win, we are looking at the number of votes that your comments are getting. And so far, the person with the most votes, are you ready? Me. What? I want you guys not to don't vote on my comments, vote on your friends' comments, because I got the hookup here. But if you want to get the hookup as well, start voting on the comments on who you think should win the most, the awesome webinar, the full webinar training. And if we're not going to see a lot of votes coming up for one specific comment, what we're going to do is we're going to give it to the one who commented the most. Not just like LOL or hi or, thanks for being here, but like valuable comments. So either continue commenting, add value to the conversation, or start upvoting your friends' comments and let them win this really, really valuable training that Bishop is offering us. So we are 20 minutes before we need to close. We have so much more content. We're going to go to Chris, and then we're going to open it up so you guys can come here and chat with us. Let's do that.
Right, cool. And I absolutely love working with Bishop because, as you guys can tell, he knows so much. And here's what I wanted to add. Can you guys all just type in a yes? And if you're out there on Periscope and on Bishop's Periscope, double tap on the screen if you have a product that you 100% believe in. Just if you have a product you 100% believe in. Because if you do, then you need to use everything, and I'm seeing a ton of love coming in out here, which is great. You need to use everything to get that into the hands or into the lives of the people who's it's actually going to change their life. And so sometimes, and this is what I hear sometimes, oh, I don't want to use a countdown timer, or I don't want to put in those extra bonuses, or I don't want to do that because that's salesy. And here's what I want you to do as a reframe. That's what you're doing is instead of being salesy, you're giving it. If you don't actually get them to invest in the program, how are they going to actually get that change to do it? Okay? And so I just wanted to empower you to do it. The second thing is I wanted to share with this is that a lot of times with your bonuses, we need to give, in your program, you can pull things out and actually make it a bonus and actually highlight what's in there. And that's a really big tip for what you're doing. So I love both of them. And I want you all to remember that if you're sitting and going, wow, there's a lot of information here, and it's all in our program. And by the way, on day 6, we're going to teach you how to craft your no-brainer. On day 9, we're going to show you how to do the application close, so make sure you stick with us over the whole time. But I also just wanted to let you know that it's all down to emotional clarity. So why does Bishop get you to stack it? Okay, why did he tell you to stack it? That's because what that does is gives him the emotion of excitement and hope and wow, that's amazing. Why does he give the guarantee? Well, it gives you the emotion that what you're doing is making a good decision, okay, and that you feel safe. Why do we get you to tell stories? Because in the struggle, because it's the emotion. And why do we give you the clarity and explain it? Because it's just emotional clarity. If all you got on and just put up there, I need to give them these emotions and this clarity, if that's all you did, you followed the steps, and all you did is follow exactly what Bishop said with the stack, and then you said, look, I can't take you all on. You have to apply here, and you just got them to type out and apply, and we'll take you through the application close on day 9. You'll make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. And if all you did, like Ifat said, is use what we taught you yesterday and use Periscope to get people on there. By the way, Periscope people, you should get on my webinar really soon. And it's just that easy. You give someone value, they get to get on the webinar, they get to see whether they want to buy from you or not. They know, you tell them up front that at the end you're going to offer them where to go next. It's so awesome, it's so respectful, and I just want to throw a ton of love at you and say, I can't wait to be on your webinar and buy something amazing from you and help it change my life as well. So I'll throw it over to Yifat or Bishop, whoever's on next, and I know we've got to open up for questions.
So we're getting a tons of yeses here. I love this. And Victor is saying it's a crime if you have something that can help people and you don't get it out to those people because of your sales fears. And I completely agree with you. I'm sure you guys like completely agree with that statement. And you know, it's very interesting because you know the time I'm spending with Chris and Bishop, it's really interesting how they reframe the state of mind, where you're moving away from how much money can I make to how much money can I give, and this is what Bishop was saying. And it's so interesting because When you start thinking about how much money can I give, that means that you have to make so much more, right, in order to be able to give as much. You can't give what you don't have. And so if you have a product or something that helps people and you don't give it to them because you're worried about selling, stop thinking about selling, think about helping people. It's like a friend comes to you and goes like, dude, you know, I'm really trying to lose weight, I'm having these issues, blah, 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 and you went through the same exact process and you say, hey, you know, drink more water today or do something else, but you don't, you know, you give value. Like Chris was saying, money is only a unit of choice. See, guys, I'm listening to what you're saying. It's a unit of choice. So the more unit of choices you have, the more choice you have, and the more you can choose what to do with it, right? So you can either give it away or vacation or support someone or employ people, right, in your business and give them work and change lives. So if you want to actually, if you have something that can change the world and you're not sharing it, I completely agree with Victor, that's a complete crime. So, in order to not do that, I'm glad that you're here with us. We are opening the Hangouts. We're going to jump into the final training today, and then we're going to move into your live interaction, which I'm so excited about. Take it, Bishop.
Okay, great. And so, yeah, Victor, great comment there. Absolutely, you were spot on with that. And so one of the last things I'm going to say to you guys is, very quickly, number one is your title is very important. That's called your hook. So your hook has to talk directly to your target audience, okay? And we all know that how-tos are one of the most popular things in the world. In fact, how-to information is the #1 searched information online. How-to videos are the #1 videos searched on YouTube. So if you can teach someone, if your product is teaching someone or helping them in a way, the reason that the words how-to are so powerful is because it immediately lets someone know that they're going to get something. You're going to solve a problem for them. You're going to teach them something. So the other aspect, like if you're going to say something like how to lose, 20 pounds, okay, that's great. But here's the other aspect of your title that you have to have in there, and this is very important. You have to have a time frame. When you put a time frame in your titles, your registration rate is going to go through the roof, and you're going to convert more because now people know how long it's going to take. So if you say how to lose weight and then you say 20 pounds, being very specific, 20 pounds in 60 days or less. How to get 1,000 leads in 30 days or less, in 45 days. So by giving people a time frame to your product or to your brand or whatever you're going to teach on that webinar, I guarantee you your registration rates are absolutely going to increase dramatically by doing that. Okay, so make sure you put on the how-tos and also put on the time frame. So here's just a little formula, because I know we have newbies on and we also have seasoned people on as well that have already tested products, they've already made sales. So here's a formula by Jeff Ronan that actually helps you predict if your webinar is going to be successful very quickly. You take your average conversion rate, your ACR. So let's say that you normally convert at 12%, 8%, whatever it is. This is why Chris and I said day one, knowing your numbers is so important in business. And now you guys are seeing why as we go through this process. So let's say you convert at 12%. So you're going to take that and then you're going to times it by, let's say the average webinar has 100 people on it, okay? So if you convert at 12%, that means you're going to make 12 sales, right, on that webinar. Then you take your customer lifetime value, okay? So let's say a customer is worth $2,000 for you, right? Say your average customer is worth $2,000. So now what you do is you take that 12 times, which is how many customers you got on that webinar, times your average customer lifetime value, which is $2,000, that equals $24,000 you would make on that webinar, right? So, or you can do it, let's say you convert low, let's say it's only 3%, right? And let's say that your average customer value is only $1,500. But that still means you would have made $4,500 on that webinar. Now, let's assume that, and we're going to show you free ways to get people on your webinar, but let's also say you're paying for your webinar, you're spending money on ads. Let's say you spent $15 per attendee and you had 100 people on, that means you spent $1,500. Check this out. So now you take the formula that I just gave you minus the amount you spent on the advertising. On the example number one, you still walk away with $22,500. Example number two, you only made $4,500 in sales. If you spent $15 per person on your webinar, you still made $3,000 profit. Now, do you guys see why it's so important to know your numbers in business? Because this is going to help you prejudge whether you're going to be successful in this or not. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there because most people don't know these kind of formulas, but I'm giving these numbers for a reason. I want you to start thinking like an entrepreneur. There's a difference between playing entrepreneur and being an actual entrepreneur and business person. Entrepreneurs know their numbers, and this is so important. So let's do my favorite part, which is opening it up for questions.
So, and also, guys, remember, this is a hackathon. This is about hacks. And the way that you can hack a system is, first, you need to understand the system and know which part you can tweak, and then see the effect of that tweak on the entire system. So if you don't know your numbers, you don't really know where you can step in, what you can change, and then how that affects the entire system. So I love that you're starting with numbers, because you're right, most business owners treat this as a hobby. And it's kind of like, well, let's see what happens, all right. And then they don't even know where the money goes to, how much I spend on advertisement, how much does the customer cost, what's my conversion rate, and all this yucky stuff that, you know, an entrepreneur doesn't like to do. I don't like to do it. So, hey, Susan, how are you? Love seeing your enthusiasm.
Hi, how are you guys?
Awesome. Tell us, how is it going with webinars?
I think this is amazing. We've done webinars before in other companies, but I love the whole fact of getting in there and telling your story, because every single one of us have a story, whether it's a struggle story or in your business story, whatever it is, we all have stories that can help change somebody's outlook or their life. So I think this is so awesome to get in there to be able to do that.
Any questions about webinars for these two brilliant minds?
Not really. I just think the whole formula, I'll have to sit and diagnose everything that Chris taught us tonight, because that's really awesome. And I've known Bishop, he gets on me about different things too, so having him as a mentor is awesome. So I don't know, I just love this. It's awesome. I've learned so much.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and thank you so much for all those awesome comments that you left on the page.
Of course. Thank you.
Guys, you want to jump in? Anything to say to Susan?
Yeah, I will. Susan, it doesn't have to be complicated. Here's the 3 steps that I would do to get started. Okay, is go to webinar, get a 30-day free trial, or just use Hangout, because Hangout's free. I'll just set up my Periscope here as well. Just go set something up really quick. Use this as a title, okay? How to X without Y in X amount of days. Does that make sense? So how to double your sales without being salesy in 30 days or less. Just use a title like that. Nothing else. You don't need to make it any more complicated than that. With GoToWebinar and with Hangout, people can opt in. I've used GoToWebinar a lot more, so I'm going to speak from experience from that. And you know, we've got Yifat, the Google Plus Go-To gal right here. I think I got that right. And she's absolutely awesome at that stuff. But I know this, because what's great about GoToWebinar is you get 30 days free, okay? But it creates a little opt-in page where you actually can receive their email addresses as well. So it actually is a free way to create a little landing page. Then what I would do, Susan, is I would just send it out, get some people on there, have the 7 steps in front of you. Step number 1 is, you know, just tell them what you're going to teach them, the setup, and then tell them your story about how you came around doing what you're doing. Teach them the struggle. Give them their first step, see that this will be in your product. Second step, seed it, step, and say that this will be in the 3rd, 4th step. And then give them the full system, everything that's in there, and then put it on sale, and just ask them who would like to apply to work with you.
That's awesome.
And you'll make a few $1,000s. You'll give me and Bishop a testimonial. I'm sure you'll give Bishop heaps. And I'd like you to do that. You can do that in a few days. And this is why I always say to people, it's like, you should never have a money problem. You should never have a cash flow problem. And you only need to put 10, 20, 30 people on a webinar, and if 10% buy, you've got 3 new sales. And if you're selling something that's $100 or $200, $300, $400, or even $1,000, you pay money like that. And that's the key. And then what I would do is, once I know my numbers, then you can go to people like Bishop, myself, you can go to others who have lists, and you say, these are my numbers. And so if you put people on here, this is how many you're going to buy, and I'll give you this much, because now I know my numbers. And boom, your business will explode. And just taking that one strategy and obviously you'll get all the pieces over the next 7 days.
Cool.
There's $100,000 in that, no matter what your business is in the next 12 months.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, and the only thing I'll add on there is that you don't even have to have your product before you even launch it. Because you can launch, and I know what you do, Susan. I mean, you can launch something and say, okay, you guys, over the next 4 weeks, once a week, I'm going to get on and we're going to do a 2-hour training on whatever it is, not being salesy like Chris said, or whatever strategies you're working on. And you record that because you can record it with GoToWebinar, and that becomes your product later. Now you can take those videos and put them into a membership site or whatever, and that's your product. But you make the sales in advance before you even do the webinar. So now you've tested it, you've made seed money to do your webinar. Now you have money for advertising and so forth to scale it up even bigger, because now you put it on autopilot, and now you're just running traffic to it, and it's converting for you, and you wake up in the morning worth more money than when you went to sleep.
That's
and so
awesome.
if you guys remember, Chris and I said we're going to teach you guys freedom businesses.
I'm in. That's exciting.
And
That's
I'll give you a
awesome.
bonus product.
There you go.
That is so cool. And Susan, I would love to see, in the next 7 days what your webinar is about. And feel free, we have a community here. So guys, if you want to brainstorm with each other, we're all on the same journey. Share what you're going through in the community, support each other, give feedback. Otherwise, you're kind of like in the void looking for, trial and error. So that's why this is all here. You can connect with us, you can connect with each other, and you can get support and get you moving in the right direction. So good morning, London, 3 a.m. again. How are you, Steve? Awesome seeing you. How are you feeling about the content today? Any questions for these guys? Do you have an idea for a webinar? So maybe this is one thing you want to ask them. Do you know your audience, or what you, because you're in fitness, right?
Yeah, fitness.
Any ideas, guys, for Steve on what he should work on the next 7 days?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I don't know if he has a list already or not, or a certain audience. Do you have a list already, or? Okay. Okay, see, listen, just you even telling part of your story right now, we're already engaged. I'm like, okay, and who? You know what I mean? So that's the power of telling stories. So I would definitely put something together where you either have you're building an online community, you're going to do an online training with them, and you're providing value. You're going to give them motivational tips. You can have a membership site where you're bringing on experts that are going to keep them fine-tuned. You have some kind of accountability coaching program that keeps them accountable. And you can even say, you know what, I'm going to every Wednesday and stuff, we're going to have accountability session where I'm going to get on with you for a quick 5 minutes every week just to see where you're at, make sure everything is on point, keep you motivated. But then they have these training videos as well on losing. I don't know what your different processes are, exactly what you do in fitness, but I've worked with a lot of fitness people. And I'm very passionate about fitness as well. And so you should be, I want to see your webinar. Okay, let's just put it out there. Between you and Susan, this is what I want to do, because you guys have been here every day. And for you to be here at 3 o'clock in the morning every single day so far speaks volumes. So you're ready, my friend, because you wouldn't be here if you're not. There's people right now, it's only 6 p.m. and they're not here. They have an excuse, they're tired or something, but you're here at 3 o'clock. So I want you and Susan, okay, to come up with your title. I want you guys to send us your title and tell us what your title is on one of these upcoming hangouts, so we can hear what your title is and kind of let us know exactly what your your product's going to be about and what it's going to entail so we can critique it, because I want you guys to actually do this. I want you guys to actually launch it. I don't want you guys to leave here and then this becomes just like something else where all of a sudden now you haven't done anything and it's 2 months from now. Okay? We're here strictly because, again, like Chris said in the beginning, we have other things to do. We're not here because we have nothing to do. We're here because we want to see transformation. Right? We want to see you guys actually take action and change your life. So can you do that for me? Can you sit up and the next 2 days, write it down? Okay, you too, Susan. I want to see both of you.
Yes, I heard you. I'm going to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Absolutely.
So I think you just identified who wins your package today. And, you know, you're going to give more than one, but that will be Susan and Steve for taking action, showing up, and actually participating. What do you think?
Yeah, you guys are rock stars. Absolutely.
Yay.
We're going to go with that. So congratulations. Now, by the end of the next 7 days, we are going to see your webinars and really see how that changes your lives. And guys, this is really what it's about. It's about moving you to take action, giving you the tools and the information that you need. But, you know, like we said at the beginning, all the information is out there. There's a reason why you're not doing it. And the reason is probably because you don't have this accountability system and you don't have access to minds like that can be like, okay, you're just looking for excuses or analysis paralysis or like, you know, do this tomorrow and come back and tell me why. So this is why we're here for you today and in the next 10 days. So awesome, guys. Love to see you taking action. This is so cool. And Steve, I hope you're getting some sleep afterwards. It's awesome. And Paul, how are you, Paul?
Hello, can you hear me?
Are you in your PJs? Yes.
No.
Still in your PJs?
No, not today.
Well, welcome. What can we answer for you?
I'm not sure, but I think webinars is perfect for my business, like because I sell an app. It will be perfect to do like a screen share kind of thing, and also just getting other experienced DJs and then lesser experienced DJs all in a group conversation would be something very easy to put on.
I think you're right. So do you want to
so yeah,
as well of doing this in the next 2 days?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can probably pull it together because I've got that network I was talking about yesterday with you know, probably got about 100 DJs in a private DJ group. So I could definitely promote it there and get people online. So
awesome.
yeah.
We're looking. Yeah. So guys, we're gonna open up a new forum. You just gave me an idea. Let's open up a forum in our community right there, and so you guys can share your ideas of what do you think your webinar should be about, and get feedback from other participants. Because I think Mike is here.
And I just wanted to add this to everyone that's on here as well. And I really like what Bishop's done to get you guys into action. If there's one thing that is the easiest to take action on, okay, out of all things that you can do, it's to put up a webinar. Okay, I tell you, because it's so easy. So because you have the slides in front of you, so you know what you're going to say. If you're passionate about what it is you're doing, you get them clear on who you are. You just tell them your story, tell them the truth. You tell them the steps of what it involves to get it done. You tell them the system, and you invoke that emotion. You give them clarity on why they should work with you, what's in your product. You stack it up, you drop it down, get them to apply. There can't be anything easier. And you know what? They want to be on it because they want to learn all that information. And so I think it's such a great first step. But then there's all the future because you can record it and it can turn into an automated webinar where money just flows in while you're sleeping, so you don't have to get up at 3 in the morning. You can use it and you can turn it into a live presentation so that you can stand in front of an audience. It's all the same thing. You can break it up into a little video training, right? So it's so good, and I'm just so grateful to hear you guys saying, I'm going to do it. So just use that title that we said, how to without in only so many days. So how to X without Y. So in the DJ company, it might be like how to get more clients without spamming your list in 30 days, or how to double, whatever it is in the fitness industry, how to lose weight fast without crazy diets in only 30 days. Do you see how that sequence works? Put it out. And I'm inspired by you guys. I just want to say thank you for being on here. It's really cool.
I love it. And there's a question from Charlene saying that being an energy healer, how do I automate healing some people or do mass healing or groups, which means you still need to be there? Or would you just stick to phone or Skype, which does, again, just keep it individual, and you're still there, or is it no way of doing this for healers?
I love this.
I'll let Chris go. No, I'll let Chris go, and then also I'll talk on this because I have a client. She's actually on my Periscope right now. She laughed when she heard that, but that's what she is too. She's an energy healer. So absolutely, go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, man. I want everyone to understand right now is that there's fulfillment when you're actually changing their life, and then there's helping them to make a buying decision. Now, I've worked with a ton of healers, spiritual people, life coaches, and the problem is that people don't understand what it is you do. So what the webinar is, one of my favorite webinar titles, I'm going to give you a second one, okay? This is from our training. It's the 7 mistakes you make in X and the 3 things to do to make it right. And so a lot of times, in order for me to buy your healing, I need to, because I'm still stuck in a left brain world, I need to know what it is that I'm going to get, why I'm actually going to choose you, what's involved in your system, and this is where the clarity comes in, right? And so I love the question so much because I hear it all the time. And my problem is that we're not talking about fulfilling and doing a webinar where you're actually doing the work. We're talking about creating an emotional clarity webinar that goes through the 7 steps that has them buy something so then you can do the work. The biggest reason why people aren't buying is 1, they don't know about you, so we talked about that tomorrow, and we also go through that on day 7. And 2, they don't actually have the clarity and the emotion to do it right now. They don't know what it is, so then they can't take action because they have no idea what you do. But if you said to them, come to this webinar, and I will show you, how to do it. So I show you, I teach you the steps of what I go through. So step 1 might be this, step 2 might be this, step 3, and then I just say, and you'll do it with me, and then I give you clarity on my system. So it's 3 months we work together. It's once a week, you close your eyes over Skype, and I take you through a meditation or whatever it is, and then week 2 we do this, week 3 you tell them your system, normally it's this much, today it's this much, and apply here. It's that simple. And so great question, I hear it all the time, and I hope I just got it across that there's, when you're doing it, and when you're getting people to take action, and it's a completely different mindset. And that's why you need people like me and Bishop in your life and people that we work with in our programs. We make sure that they get when they're actually fixing the problem and when they're just diagnosing it. So just think about your webinar is like when you go to a doctor and you pay the doctor and all the doctor does is write you out a prescription and then says go and buy that stuff. Well, that's what you're doing. They're coming to the doctor, they've got a problem, and you're writing them the prescription in a webinar. And you say, so here's a prescription, here's your problem, I've figured it out. And I'm not even going to charge you, and a doctor would actually charge you, and then they go get you to buy more stuff, right? So that's what you're doing. Over to you, Bishop.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys. And Helen, my client, she's one of my high-end clients. She's on Periscope right now. She's like, exactly, yeah, because that was my struggle with her at first because she couldn't connect the dots. She couldn't connect it, and I kept saying the same thing, is that people don't understand energy people and energy healers and stuff. And when you're talking about metaphysics and all these different things, you can lose people. So you have to go through education processes to educate the average person to grow and scale your business. She's typing in right on Periscope right now. And so that's what it's all about, is educating people. And here's the other thing I want to make sure you're careful about is, yes, number 1, you should be doing webinars. Now that I have Helen doing live broadcasting, she didn't even want to do Periscope. Now she's like the Periscope queen. I mean, she has JV people asking her to come and do interviews. She's doing live sessions now on Blab, working with people, and she's built this big brand now, even more than what she already had by doing this. But here's the thing that you have to work on and be careful about, and I've gone over this with Helen. In your languaging, you have to remember not everyone knows what you're talking about. Okay, you got to also remember you're also out there to get new people involved into your company, into your brand, and into your business. There's people out there that are not in the metaphysics world who need your services, but if you're out there talking all of these big terms and these big words and esoterical this and that, and you're going to lose them. It's very important in marketing to have your languaging be for your target market and your average person? How can you talk to them in a very real way that connects them? And Helen has a tremendously powerful story, and she just wrote Still Working with That. She has a tremendously powerful story, but she didn't want to tell her story. And she would say, well, you know, I'm tired of telling that story. You got to remember, this is not about you. Your business is not about you. Your business is about the other person. It's about the consumer. It's about how it can change their life. I don't care if you've heard your story 8 million times. There's one person out there whose life is going to be changed by your story. So make sure that in your languaging on your webinar, you're talking average to the average person. And that's when you're going to convert them, and then you give them what they need. Now, here's a statement I want you guys to write down in marketing. You're going to sell people what they want, and then you're going to give them what they need. Sell people what they want, give them what they need. For instance, Chris and I know that being an entrepreneur is 80% mindset, 20% skill, strategy, implementation. But we sell, you're going to build this big business, you're going to do all that. That's what people want. We're selling what they want, but then when they actually work with us, yeah, I keep looking at everybody. When they actually work with us, we're going to give them all of the other stuff that we know is the real substance of what's going to make them successful. Okay, so for you energy people, you're going to sell them on being more clear in their life and expanding their relationships. But then when you work with them, you're going to give them what they need, all the other inside goodies. So make sure you guys write that down. Sell people what they want, give them what they need, and you'll make way more money.
I love it, man. I love it. And it's so important. We got a few questions with that when it was happening. You know, like, how do I break it down? And I want everyone to know. And I'm big on systems and steps. You might notice I have the 7 steps for this, the 3 steps for that, the I, E. I always have the systems and steps. And Alex was asking about that. Okay, so make your own signature system. Okay, break down what's complex with the idea of explaining to it with clarity. Okay, so I've got a whole training on this, and we're doing clarity education. What day is it, Eva? I think it's day 8. We're going to go through a clarity education so that you've got it. You guys will get it, all right? Stick with us here. Make sure you're sharing out here. But one thing I heard from Alex was, what do I do if it's wrong? Okay, and this is the biggest thing that stops entrepreneurs is perfectionism. And here's what I need you to know right now. We're so brought up in this book smarts world that it doesn't translate into business, okay? Here's what you need to do in business is you need to test and measure and improve. The only reason I'm successful is I really dislike it, but I'm okay to do something and it not to go amazing, okay? You must test and measure. You've got to get something out to the marketplace. Here's the metaphor I want you to use. If you're trying to become good at the game of basketball, how much use do you think it is sitting at home reading a book about how to play basketball? Okay, and I'm going to get myself so perfect. I'm just going to work out at the gym. I'm going to get all my muscles ready. I'm going to get everything ready. Where do you think you learn the most? You learn the most on the field, right? That's where you're going to learn. So what I need you to do right now is to drop the idealistic notion that you actually know what is going to be right to launch. And I want you to be totally prepared for feedback. The only thing that matters is what the market says. So the speed to implementation, or the speed to you getting something out there and then going, hey, they were engaged there, but they didn't like that, or I should do that, or should do that. That's going to help you, you know, like so much more than anything sitting back, okay, getting into action. That's one thing I want to mention with you as well, is the reason why I've been able to build businesses so fast. People always mention that to me, like, how do you have that many companies so quick? How do you keep doing it? Firstly, here's the steps again. Step number 1 is know what you want. Okay. Step number 2 is jump straight in. If you see an opportunity that looks good, jump in. But never jump in the deep end without a lifeguard, because that's just silly. So if you're going to jump in and do something, have a lifeguard there instructing you how to swim. If you're going to jump into webinars, have somebody be around people that can teach you and show you, well, that didn't work and that didn't. Otherwise, you could just have the complete wrong technique and you're never going to actually be able to fix it, right? You need to have someone there watching you, with you, coaching, mentoring you, advising you, and I would suggest every single one of you have somebody or 2 people in your life that are there to always show you and guide you and tell you, so you can send it into them. They say that's wrong, fix that, do that, do that, do that. So those are my steps. Jump in, okay, know what you want, jump in, and then always have a lifeguard there to support you when you're in the deep end, and you'll get there so much faster, so much faster. I love the questions though. I can see Bishop's got a ton of stuff he wants to add on right now.
I love what you're saying because you know, you were talking about basketball. I'm thinking about swimming. Right, so you can read all the books about swimming and know theoretically, you know, what's the best way to cross whatever it is, right? But when you jump into the water, you're gonna drown because you never practiced, you don't know what it's like, and you don't have someone to actually, you know, guide you there and help you as you practice to improve and improve and improve. So this is really, really awesome because right now we have 2 lifeguards and we have a community and we have a system. So I'm glad that you're here with us, participating. I'm glad you're taking action, and I know we're going to have a hard cut in another 10 minutes. So let's talk to Brazil. Brazil, how are you doing, Alexandre?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can we see you?
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's been awesome. Great content. I'm happy to be here at night and drop in my questions and have them answer. And I think that's awesome value. And last night I couldn't sleep. And I woke up late for work because I was tired. But I'm doing it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. It's been awesome, and I think I'm just like pumped up, and yeah, I'm gonna take steps. And even though it's a bit challenging, like I will break down the steps and prepare and like rehearse at home in front of the mirror or whatever to get the webinar sorted well. And yeah, thanks for the tips, and yeah.
We love having you here, so this is really, really awesome. And do you have any questions about webinars, or should we jump into the questions from the audience?
Softwares, and especially free softwares, like when you're starting, like what should I use? What's the best thing?
Well, again, like Chris mentioned, GoToWebinar is the most solid, one of the most solid platforms out there that has less tech issues, and you can get the first 30 days on trial. So you can get that, run your webinar, make some income, and then actually use it. But there's a lot of software out there. There's GoToWebinar, there's Webinar Jam, which Yafat might actually know about Webinar Jam. It actually connects with Google Hangouts. So there's Webinar Jam, and then there's also Stealth Seminar is another one that's really good. Online meetings is less cost effective as well. So some of these are the platforms that I would recommend that you start with, because the last thing you want to do on your first webinar is start it and then have a bunch of tech issues, and because you know your first impression is important, so make sure you have a solid platform. So online meeting, GoToWebinar, Stealth Seminar, Google Hangouts. You could do a Google Hangout for your first webinar. Google Hangout is free.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Oh, were you?
Here's the thing with Google Hangouts. So with Google Hangouts, and if you want, you know, I'll provide training about that, how to moderate them, how to run them, how to start them. But you know, you can record a Google Hangout live unlisted, meaning nobody sees it. Or you can record it private and just let a few people coming in. Or you can record it public and then download and edit. So there's so many ways to use Google Hangouts that free for all, and exactly the same way that we're doing it right now. So if anyone is interested in learning how to do that, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do something together, all three of us.
And how do you replay a webinar?
How do you replay a webinar? Bishop?
Oh, I thought he was asking from the the Google Hangout area. So if you're talking about just in general, I'm hearing some feedback. Oh, did you want this one, Chris? I saw him jump up. So with Stealth Seminar is a really good automation tool for doing automated webinars. ClickFunnels is personally what I use. I love ClickFunnels to do the replays. But here's the deal. You can record your webinar from Google Hangouts, and Yifat's the master, you guys. So all of you that are just starting, I would recommend you contact Yifat to do it, because it doesn't cost anything. She can train you guys on doing it. And it's automatically recorded and goes to your YouTube channel. You can take that video and create your very own little web page, and you can do that through WordPress or some free site if you want to. And all you do is drag and drop in the video, and you can have that up for 2 days and tell your people, send out an email and say, hey, I have the replay up. It's going to be played on Sunday, and it's going down on Monday night or something like that. Monday night at midnight, the replay is going down. So that's a very inexpensive way and a very easy way for you to do that without all the big automated software that we use. That's one of the best and cheapest ways to do it. So record it on Google Hangout with UFAT's experience and expertise behind you, and then simply take that, and you can get someone on Fiverr to create a web page for you and put the video in there for $5. Okay, they can create a page for you, put the video in there for $5, and you send out that link to that domain name for the replay. Very, very simple.
So before Chris has to leave, let's just communicate some of the comments that we're getting from people watching us. We'd love to see you in. Tamara, you went in and you kind of dropped off, so I hope it's not an technical issue. But Tamra is saying, I have written on my desk, stop expecting perfection. It doesn't work. Thanks for that confirmation, Chris. Charlene is saying, thank you, Chris and Bishop. This is great. I was trying to join the Hangout, but connection issues, but thank you for, reading the question. My biggest thing is letting go of fear of public speaking, so I guess this is work of putting together what you have laid out. So yes, Charlene, go with that. And then guys, again, this is a community, so engage, support each other, and take the Hangout as a pro course. It's free for you, but you can practice jumping into Hangouts, seeing yourself on camera, talking, recording it, and just getting comfortable doing public speakings when nobody sees you, kind of like in front of the mirror. Ruth was saying, someone said that they were using, what was that? Webinar Hero. Are you familiar with Webinar Hero, Chris, Bishop?
I haven't personally used it, no.
No. Okay, so there's that. So there's, yeah?
I mean, there's so many things that you can use to get in the way of just starting, and one of them is trying to figure out the best piece of technology. So I just want to kind of stop it, and I just want to say to you, just stop it. Just pick one, and the easiest one to get 30-day free trial is GoToWebinar. I use it, Bishop uses it, stop it, all right? Just go use that. They can opt in, it's 30 days, it's free. Just go use that and go get a webinar and go get some results. Otherwise, if I answer that question, I'm allowing you to stay in your comfort zone of asking all these questions, trying to get the perfect, I'm not going to swear, but I was going to swear, the perfect software, all right? Imperfect action, go and just choose GoToWebinar. And let's just do that for now. When you come back to me and say, hey Chris, I did my first webinar, my first month subscription is ending, which one would you recommend? Well, I'm still going to recommend GoToWebinar, but we can look at all the different ones as well and talk about some of the other things, okay? So just use that and just do it.
There you go. And by the end of the 30 days, hopefully you made some money with the webinar, so actually paying for it is not a biggie. And that's really the goal here, right?
And one of the things that I want to say real quick is that if you're trying to be a perfectionist, here's what's really happening is, and I have a free video all on perfectionism, is there's something about what you're trying to get people to believe about you that you don't believe about yourself. And that's what's stopping you. There's something that you are presenting to the world about you that you're going to talk about on these webinars or whatever it is that you yourself don't believe about you. And so that's what's causing the procrastination, and just get out there and do it. Now, the other thing is to start making money with webinars, you can even start with JVs. You could do a webinar and bring on an expert and say, you know what, I'm going to do the marketing, I'm going to do the advertising, I'm going to bring you on, you're providing value to your list, and you get 50% of what you sell on the webinar. So if someone comes on the webinar, you guys can even say, you know what, I'm going to do a webinar on Google Hangouts, and you bring Yafat on to present to your audience, and she does an amazing presentation, and you guys sell, $2,000, whatever it is. You get $1,000, she gets $1,000. But it also gets your feet wet talking to people. Now, I have clients who they're from multiple countries around the world, Chris and I both. They have a language barrier, and they get on, and one guy just read the script. I mean, he just read every PowerPoint. He didn't elaborate at all. and he still made $16,000 on his webinar. And his webinar was, this was a year ago, his webinar was how to get 10,000 followers on Twitter in 45 days or less, and made $16,000 with a heavy Russian accent. Okay, you guys remember, it's just about the content people get. Okay, so do a joint webinar with YFAT. That's my advice.
There you go. I love that. So guys, tomorrow we are, what, Chris? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've got to go. I've got a board meeting in 4 minutes that I've got to get to, but I just wanted to share with everyone. There's, we've got the Facebook community, and also, you know, some of the stuff that we're talking about as well. Bishop and I craft out. We do a program together. We craft all this stuff out. We make it all perfect for you. And so, you know, those of you who ever get interested in that, at some point in the future, you can find out about what it is you can do to actually work closer with us. But right now, the number one message I'm hearing, and I hear it with a lot of my clients, is that I want everything to be perfect because I don't want to mess up. Okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to realize that in the real world, in business, is you just need to make that mistake fast. Your first one's not. Your first webinar you do is going to be the worst one you ever do. So let's get it out of the way this week. Let's get some people on there. At the end of the only thing that's going to happen, is people are just not going to buy. That's it. So you're going to be in the exact same place you are. And so one of my big things is to inspire you to make it so simple, just to get them on. And at the end of it, just ask them, and it'll work for you. And then let's make it perfect. And then remember the Michael Jordan story, right? You start playing the game, then you improve every single quarter until you have the perfect webinar. Okay. Now, when you use slides online, it's very easy to take out certain bits and put in, change it, and you can ask us, and we can make it perfect. But we can't make something perfect if you haven't actually started. So here's my thing to you. Get out there, start it, post in the group, ask your questions, and I can't wait until tomorrow. We're going to be sharing all about how to use sales funnels and funnel hacking. It's going to be phenomenal. And so, guys, I hope that you're starting to get the energy. But here's what I would love, okay? As you know, Bishop and I are just here giving you a lot of time. And if you appreciate us, the only thing you can do for us, I've had time people ask me, Chris, what can we do to help you? The only thing you can do is you can help us get more people on this. That is the only thing you can do for us right now. We don't want anything else. We don't want money. We don't want anything. We just want to help. But we want to help a ton of people. Now, I know, I've heard of some of you say, I've got an email this. I've got a Facebook following this, or I've got a Twitter this, or I've got a Periscope. So here's my request, if I'm allowed to ask a request after 3 days and 4 hours of training. If it's okay, here's my request, is could you do at least one social media post and just one email out, sharing what it is that you're getting on here, and just asking people to be on? You don't have to, but it'd be one way to give back to us, and I know that for us, we just want to help as many people. So if you could do that for us, that'd be great. And I just can't wait to answer your questions. Those who've got the webinar training, fantastic. Look forward to seeing some massive results. Thanks, Susan. You're awesome. I'm going to pass it across to YFAT. YFAT, I've got to get on a call. So, guys, I'll talk to the rest of you tomorrow.
Awesome. And I love that, guys. Just get started. The Nike motto, right? Just do it. So just do it, share, invite your friends, take action, and come back tomorrow, exactly the same place, same time, right here. We'll see you then. Thanks so much. Thanks, Bishop.